Salam Pejaksilat. Welcome everybody to our session for this week in analysis, and we're going to take a look at some CCTV footage of a Machete attack which happened in the UK somewhere. I'm not sure where it was, maybe in London or somewhere, or Birmingham or one of those places. I'm not sure. But somebody sent this to me to review, and it was pretty bad. And I thought it was worthwhile because it had some useful lessons inside of it that we can all benefit from. So let's take a look at the video first of all, and we'll see what's going on here. So we have got this guy who comes out, and then we've got a bunch of these ridiculous youths who chase after him. So you've got 2 or 3 assailants. Okay. So you've got about 2 or 3 assailants who run after this gentleman, and they end up killing him in the road, and they murdered him in public. Yeah, so a few things that you really can learn from this video right away. The first one is that relying on any type of assistance from bystanders is always the worst plan that you can possibly have. Because as you can see here, throughout this entire video, nobody gets out of their car to help. Nobody stops or tries to do something to the attackers with their car. Nobody even tries to call for assistance or yell at them to stop or anything like that. Absolutely nothing. So you can always assume that the people who are around are probably not going to help you. So the assumption that you're on your own is probably a very good assumption. You're operating always on the assumption that you are on your own and nobody can help you. Nobody's going to help you. The second thing, which is really important when you look at this video, is to know that if you are thinking of the standard self-defense reaction, well, then they always teach this. I've heard this, I don't know how many hundreds of times. If somebody holds a knife or somebody has a machete or something like that, or some kind of edged weapon, run away. Now, this gentleman did try to run away. But the reality is that the natural instinct of the attacker is that they run after you. So this is the thing that people always forget about. You can run away, but it doesn't mean that you're going to escape. Running away only prolongs your death in some cases, as we saw in the situation over here. So if you are confident that you can run away from these people and you will not end up with getting knifed in the back or slashed in the back or something, which puts you again at a severe disadvantage, then it is better for you to run away if you're pretty sure. For me, I'm 47 years old, even though I look like I'm 22. Thank you very much if you think I look younger. But at 47 years old, there's no way that I'm going to outrun this kid. Most probably his track and field skills are better than mine. And I'm pretty fast. I'm not slow, okay? And I'm in relatively decent shape. But I'm probably not going to outrun a 20-year-old who's this thin and runs all the time like crazy. I'm probably not going to outrun that kid. So for me to say now, with a bad knee and a busted shoulder from multiple problems and ankle issues and surgery and whatnot, for me now to come and say that I'm going to outrun this kid is a bit of a laugh, you know? So you can say that, but it's not realistic sometimes. So when you are thinking about the runaway part, that's fine if you're capable to do so and if it's realistic in that scenario, okay? So that's the second thing. Now, when it comes to actually looking at what you can do to survive in a situation like this, first of all, there is no perfect way to do anything. There is no one solution that fits everything. The reality is that your experience and your technical background and your mentality are the 3 things which are going to keep you alive here. So if you have some training before and it was decent training, if you have some experience already in your background, and you have a mentality and a mindset which is very aggressive, which you can use to turn on them, you're probably going to have a better chance to survive. If you don't have those things, you probably don't have much of a chance to survive, regardless of what system that you learned. It doesn't really make a difference if you're missing those components. So it's pretty much the same thing here. You need to have some core components in order for this to work. One of them is that you're willing to use extreme violence of action. The second one is that you're capable technically to execute violence onto another person with proper skills, that you know how to use your skills properly. And the third, that you have the right mentality in order to survive in a situation like this. In the situations like this that I have been in my life, there have been basically two things that have helped me a lot, besides what I just told you. There are really two things that have helped me a lot to survive. The number one thing is to turn the tables on the person who is coming after you. And that means that these people are predators. A predator looks for prey. Prey is usually easier to handle than another predator. So when this person turned around, as you can see in the video over here, when this guy turned around and he turned the tables on the guy for a split second and stopped running, but stood his ground and then started to see what he could do against the guy, you see the other guy start to slow down. He started to contemplate now what he was going to do. And that's where you want to get these guys at. If you cannot outrun them, you have to stand your ground. And you have to stand your ground and verbally make it clear to them, and psychologically and physically make it clear to them from your body language that you are going to execute them as you go down. There is no two ways about this. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. And I make that very clear. If you want to kill me, I'm going to kill you also today. We are going to die together. We can all die together. I don't care, but I'm not going alone. If you can verbalize that in a very strong way to that person, they will think twice about what is going on in that situation. But if the predator sees no threat from the prey, they just continue on until they win. You have to put up a strong, violent opposition to what they are trying to do. And there, you cannot just ask for mercy because they won't give it to you. You cannot negotiate with a shark because sharks don't negotiate. Once they've decided to attack, they don't negotiate anymore. You're already in the middle of the problem. So there is really no other alternative besides standing your ground. And if you fail to do that, you probably will fail in this situation. The next thing that you can do is that you can try to use the situational advantage of the environment for yourself as well. That has been very useful for me also in these type of scenarios. If you can have a car there, or you can find some barrier between you and the other person, that gives you a super advantage to be able to, again, maintain enough distance and then call for help from other people. Tell them, I don't call people for help. I tell them to call 911. I give them a specific order and task to do if there's a problem. Call 911, call the police. That's all. Because if you ask for help, they won't help you. Okay, most people will not help you. And it's a natural thing that people have. They rather run away because they don't want to get involved in the trouble than to help you out. So don't ask people for help. Ask for 911. Tell them to call the police. You should tell them a specific task. Call the police. Very simple. And then try to maintain that distance by using the things in your environment, like the car or a bus or a fire hydrant or a tree or whatever you have that can be a barrier between you and your adversary. Those are the simple things that can create enough time for somebody else, a third party, to intervene into that situation if you cannot run away. And the third party intervention would be law enforcement, or hopefully law enforcement, if their response time is good enough to be there in 4 minutes or 5 minutes or something. And that's a long time in a situation like this. So you have to have enough sense and enough capability to survive for that period of time until there's intervention, or until you can extricate yourself from the situation. Now, also when it comes to standing your ground, on a technical level now, when you're looking at a situation like this and this person is coming after you, if you, again, like I said, I'm going to reiterate this one more time. There is no perfect solution in a scenario like this. There's only better than terrible, okay? And terrible is not knowing what to do and not taking action, because being indecisive is definitely going to get you killed. So you have to be decisive with your action. You have to execute with extreme violence, and you have to be willing to die. If you're not, then you're not capable of fighting somebody who's willing to kill you. And that's what this gentleman just said in the video. He said, I'm going to kill you. This is what the guy just said. So if he's yelling at you that he's going to kill you and he's waving a machete at you, you have to be ready to die if you want to engage with this individual. Okay. So here, if you look at it from a technical perspective now, where this guy comes in and he swings, look at his fully committed swing. Where was it? Over here. Look at his fully committed swing to come in. That is a very normal behavior of somebody who just swings a weapon. They don't know how to use the weapon very well. That tells me right away that this person doesn't really know how to use this weapon, but they know how to swing a weapon. And that's good. That means they don't have a lot of training. They might have swung the weapon a couple of times. They don't have a lot of training. That's a perfect thing. Now, this is your entry capability here. When you see that kind of completely overcommitted attack, that is your cue to enter. This is where you should have been entering, right here, because this person now has committed completely. And that's the point where you can come in and you can do something, maybe on the low line, in order to hurt that person, or on the high line, while not being able to risk too much of your body in the attack. You're able in the high line to go into their eyes or something like that with some type of an eye spear, because you have longer range when your hands are extended. So you have a better opportunity to attack. Also, very low level attacks, when you're looking at a longer weapon like that, where you need to worry about the center of your body, lower level attacks, which are lower than the knees, somewhere around the ankle area where you can take out the shins. If you can kick somebody in the shin really hard, you risk very little of yourself in order to gain a very huge tactical advantage by limiting their mobility, because an injury into the shins, most people don't train their shins enough that they're not going to feel that pain. This guy's probably not a Muay Thai fighter, okay? He's probably not training his shins all the time with Mantis Kung Fu or whatever it is. He's probably not doing that. So you can assume that your shin kick is probably going to end up injuring him enough to limit his mobility so that he's not able to run after you anymore. So high line and very, very low line are the two strategies that you can use with a longer weapon in a situation like this. And again, from my own experience, it works really well. It's worked for me multiple times in my life in different continents, and with machetes and with sticks also. So it works. It's not perfect. There is no perfect solution. I can't guarantee you that it's going to work every time. But I think that is one of the better ways to operate, instead of trying to go in and grab a hold of the weapon right away. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Other people might disagree with that, and that's okay. It's no problem. You're as a sum of your experiences in life. Those have been my experiences in life. And I would prefer to attack the low line or the high line and risk less than doing the higher risk maneuver and trying to enter in and control that weapon hand right away. I would do that afterwards. I want to injure the person first. Now, on top of this, is very important to understand that creating injury and pain on your adversary is really important, because if you are able to violently injure the first guy, the other two people are going to reconsider, because now you have proven that you are no longer prey, but you are also a predator. So now it's not so easy for them anymore. And you have to verbalize to them very clearly, we will die together today. I'm not going down alone. I'm going to take you MFs with me. Okay, that has to be very clear in your verbalization and in your body language, that we are all going to die today. Make it very clear to them. And that is going to turn the tables a little bit in your favor, because running away and turning your back when you know you're not capable of escaping because the guy's younger, he's faster, he's whatever, you're maybe injured also, is a bad choice. So running away is not always the solution. Sometimes you got to stand your ground. You got to be willing to fight. You got to be willing to die. If you're not willing to do those things, then these situations are guaranteed going to be your funeral. Okay, so that's what I got for you for this week. Hopefully it was useful for you. If you have any questions, you can just email me on the website at totalurbansurvival.com. Take care of yourselves. I wish you the best. Salam pinchak silat.